with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated. Folks, get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor. Oh!
All right. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Nothing coming out. Still nothing coming out. Everybody left. What is happening right now? All right. All right. Hey! Nothing coming out. Still nothing coming out. Everybody left. All right. Awesome. Now it's working again. All right. Well, we had some technical difficulties there, y'all. I apologize. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. I apologize, y'all. Thank you for holding on with me there. I see I lost all of my crowd when I dipped out, so that was about 9, y'all. All right, well, hey, there's one still watching. I think it's my mom. But how about we just go ahead and do this all over again? Huh? How about we do that? Okay. Hmm. All right, we're gonna just start over. I think my mom's the only one watching anyways right now. So just gonna start over real quick. Give me a second. Here we go. All right, yes. And yes. Okay, I'm gonna play my intro video again.
He's with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat close. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated, folks. Get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor.
Yo, 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 what up, what up, what up, friends? Welcome to the Professor's Semanalmente, which for you, Mark. Thank you. Applause is not needed. For you, Marks, that does mean weekly. And yes, this is my weekly installment of all the news, headlines, and world news, United States news, entertainment, sports, pop culture, and the like. So make sure you are subscribed at Ball and Buds, BALLAND BUDS. Make sure you're subscribed there to follow all of our videos, including my weekly Professor Semanalmente, which will be coming on again, usually on Mondays. Sometimes I have to push it to a Friday. But anyways, tomorrow night, catch the Bottom Line Sports. Catch the Bottom Line Sports at 8 p.m. On the Bottom Line Sports on Facebook. You can join the Facebook group, or you can watch it at Ball and Buds on YouTube. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night, the Bottom Line Sports Show. And then finally, on Wednesday, it will be Clubber D, the Combat G's Combat Sports Special. Yes, the Combat Sports Special for the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk fight. We will preview that as well as review some controversial decisions from UFC 310 that he thinks didn't treat him right in his picks. And so we'll go over all of that hilariousness. Thank you for the like. If you are watching, please hit that like, hit that love, hit that laugh. It's like a home decor photo up in this pizzies. Speaking of, let's go ahead and kick this bad boy off. Oh, by the way, that Wednesday will be 8 p.m. for the Clubber D Combat Sports Special. So 8 p.m. for the Bottom Line Sports tomorrow, 8 p.m. for Clubber D, the Combat G's Combat Sports on Wednesday. Let me get a little bit of water. So thank you again to everybody tuned in. I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started with pop culture news. This is a little bit of an first we'll start with the salute to all of the people that were willing to embarrass themselves and go dressed up as Santa to the New York City Santa Con, which is a huge bar crawl of a bunch of Santas or people dressed as Santas running across New York City drunk. Sounds like a hilariously funny time that I actually would probably want to go see all these people. I would not personally dress up as Santa, although shout out to my mom, an avid watcher and supporter of her son, who put on an amazing work holiday party last week. A shout out Maggiano's for the treatment. Shout out my girl Sonia. I'm not shouting them out. They don't deserve that. Actually, I was about to shout out somebody I shouldn't have. So anyways, but it was a great party. My mom dressed up as Santa, put on a great time. It was awesome. All right. Enough about that. In the news, the pop culture news about an update of the story, that will be the TikTok story that we talked about last week. So, y'all, last week we talked about how in the first Donald Trump term of his presidency, he had introduced a possible ban to TikTok, right? Because China owns TikTok. And so since China owns TikTok, they have all of the Americans' information, that all the citizens that we have on there, which is a lot, 170 million domestic users of TikTok. Well, all of their information now belongs to the Chinese. And so in an effort to curtail that, in an effort to cut off what could become future security concerns between countries of having each other's data, things like that, the U.S. was supposed to, or the U.S. had told China that their company ByteDance, which is the parent company of TikTok, would have to divest their the U.S. holdings to a U.S. corporation. So then that the data would then be stored in the U.S. The data would be held by a U.S. company, worked at by U.S. people. All of those things that will keep it Americanized instead of in foreign hands. And so I'm really surprised that it even got this far. I figured something else. I figured they would have either figured it out by now, or China would have sold off their portion to the U.S. for some undisclosed amount of funds, or that it would have just came to enough of an uproar, enough of because 170 million people, that's a lot of people. And you're going to have a lot of tweens, a lot of, teens, a lot of kids, a lot of even some adults. I mean, shout out, go check out Clubber D, the Combat G. He is on there, clubber.d. Check out his TikTok account promoting the Ball and Buds. He just put up a new video today. But so there's a lot of people that will be very, very upset if TikTok went away. TikTok is not only used as a platform for dancing and trends and fashion, which is all great for, don't get me wrong, but one really advantageous part of TikTok, and I as a professor of social media, of digital marketing to small business owners, one thing I teach them is if their product or their service can be used by their target audience on TikTok, then they would definitely want to be using TikTok as a channel for their brand, because of the fact that TikTok is actually turning into a huge search platform, a search engine. Social media in general has increased its share of the search engine market. No longer are these younger adults and kids and teens going to Google to find out answers. No. They're going to TikTok or other social media platforms to find their answers. And so that's really crucial going into the future. They haven't taken out a huge chunk thus far, but they have taken out a very small percentage of the search landscape from Google and from Bing and others. So we'll really see what would happen here. This would be absolutely monumental if they were to shut it down. As you know from listening to this program, me as a person who worked in the Intel community in the United States, and as a person who's my family has worked in information security and all these other things, I agree with this. I think that I don't use TikTok personally because of that exact reason of the Chinese being able to have the data that you put and everything you put on there. But I do realize that a lot of Americans do use it, and I do realize that it is an essential platform for many people that don't want to lose it. So while I understand that it's probably not going to happen, it's probably what's going to most likely happen is China is going to sell for some undisclosed amount of funds, and it will then be held in America, where again you have Americans handling American information. I would think that, again, the backlash and uproar will be too much for them to actually ban it. But again, if you know how I feel, I think that sort of thing should be very heavily protected, if not outright banned. Now, again, I can't do that at this point because so many people use it. But in my eyes, knowing what I know about foreign countries and foreign adversaries of the United States, that's something that's very important, is that you informational security and things like that. But anyways, all right. let's go ahead and move it on into sports since we got a little bit of a delay there at first. If y'all are just tuning in, I appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. But funny thing happened. Apparently, I was talking to no one for the first 10 minutes. I checked and I could hear myself just fine. And I was talking, and weirdly enough, even though there was no sound coming out for 10 minutes, 5 people were still watching the stream, which I find to be amazing. Because if I would have heard that there was no sound, I would have stopped watching, after a few seconds. So thanks to my loyal fans out there still trying to stick in and see if they can hear me. Apparently now we're good. My mom came and helped me out. Shout out to my wonderful and angel, my mother. But anyways, all right, let's go ahead and get back into sports. First of all, we'll get into our rankings. So women's college basketball, still got to shout out my Lady Bruins at 10-0, number 1 in the rankings. You have South Carolina moving up 1 spot to number 2 at 10-1. Notre Dame moves up to number 3 at 9-2. They moved up 5 spots, a huge jump there. UConn moves down 2 spots. They are 9-1 at the 4th rank. And then you have LSU, who is now 12-0, the Lady Tigers here in women's college basketball. They're at the number 5 spot. Moving into men's college basketball. Tennessee, yes, those Volunteers. Shout out to Knoxville and the Volunteers down there. They are 10-0 in the number 1 position. Auburn is 9-1 at the number 2 position. Iowa State follows them at number 3, 9-1. Kentucky at 9-4, 10-1, and Duke is at 8-2 at the number 5 spot. Your men's college basketball rankings. Duke comes in at number 5. Moving on to our NHL rankings. We look at the top teams of this week. The Minnesota Wild still holding strong from last week, a 19-5-4 record. At number 2, the Washington Capitals. Shout out to the DMV, where I am currently residing right now for the time being. By the way, if you didn't know and you're in the DMV, shout out, hit me up. We can hang out. I am back home for a little while in the holidays. Anyways, the Caps are 19-6-2. At number 3, the Winnipeg Jets are 21-9. The Vegas Golden Knights at number 4, 18-7-3. The Florida Panthers come in at number 5 at 18-9-2. Watch out for the rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals that last year coming up this week. The Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers will go to battle. And a huge shout out to my Los Angeles Kings coming in at number 7 with a beautiful 17-8-3 record, playing over their head. That's an NHL term if y'all did not know. Anyways, the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup to be specific. That is the new NBA's in-season tournament. And we are going to the finals, and the finals is going to be the 20-5 Oklahoma City Thunder. They have been great all year, and the scariest part about it is that they're one of their best players, their second best player after SGA. Chet Holmgren has been injured for almost 2 months with a broken pelvis. He is ready to come back in the next few weeks, and that is only going to make them so much better. They've won 5 straight games and own a net rating of plus 20 in those 5 games. They will go up against the Milwaukee Bucks at 14-11. Milwaukee is saying, don't forget about us, y'all. Y'all wrote us off for dead. Y'all said that we weren't going to be good after we won the championship, and we went downhill, and we fired Budenholzer, we fired Griffin, we picked up Doc. Everybody want to, crap on Doc. I know Hot Take Jake like to always give his opinion on Doc. But now y'all haters can be quiet because Doc always proves in the long run of good of a coach he is. They have won 12 of their last 15 games while Chris Middleton is still trying to get back in the mix. But Antetokounmpo, Giannis, and Damian Lillard look awesome together. So let's take a look at those power rankings for the week. The aforementioned Oklahoma City Thunder move into your number 1 spot. They have the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Number 2, the Cleveland Cavaliers at a 22-4 record. They own the number 1 offense in the league. At number 3, my Boston Celtics at 21-5. Awesome blowout of the Wizards last night. What a great game that was. They are the number 2 offense in the league. At number 4, the Dallas Mavericks are the number 4 offense in the league, and they come in with a 17-9 record. And again, those gritty, Memphis, I was going to say Grizzlies instead of, which is what they are, gritty. Then instead of Memphis, I said Memphis. I don't know if it was like Memphis and syphilis mixed together. I don't know why I would say that. Anyways, the gritty Memphis Grizzlies, say that 5 times fast. Peter Piper picked a pepper, pick a pepper. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, a woodchuck would chuck too much wood if a woodchuck could chuck. I just made that last part up. I know that's not how it goes. Anyways, the Memphis Grizzlies with top 5. Get this, y'all. You know how big I am if you watch the bottom line sports into NBA and pretty much any sport. If you have a top 10 offensive and defense, that makes you a championship contender, especially in the NBA. And Memphis is top 5 in offense and defense. So they are definitely a championship contender that we need to watch out for. Moving into the NFL. So the NFL this week, the MVP race has heated up, and now it is down to just the quarterbacks. I know how this year I stumped all year long for Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, and yes, I normally do anyways, because I like to make sure that other people other than quarterbacks are getting a shot at the MVP. I don't appreciate how quarterbacks are the only ones that ever get a shot. So I was stumping for them, but unfortunately, Saquon Barkley only had 65 yards. Derrick Henry had a little bit better of a game, but still not that great of a game. While in the past 2 games, Josh Allen last game had 3 rushing and 3 passing touchdowns for a total 6 touchdowns. And then Lamar Jackson followed that up this week with 5 passing touchdowns. Not to be mistaken, Allen then comes back and has 200 passing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, and being the first quarterback to do that in a long, long time. So these 2 quarterbacks are really, really excelling this year. Now, obviously, the past 2 weeks, Allen has been playing better, but if you look at the overall stats, yards, rushing yards, TDs, Lamar Jackson is ahead in all of the different ranks. But yes, Allen has been playing better as of late. I think it's going to be an awesome race to the end. That being said, do consider the schedule. Allen and Buffalo's schedule, pretty light. The Pats twice, the cheating Patsies twice, and the New York Aaron Rodgers Jets. That's a pretty easy schedule for Josh Allen to completely and totally eviscerate. By the way, look out for a new show coming soon from Ball and Buds. Total evisceration. All right. That was pretty cool. I said that. I like that. That made me pop. The Ravens, Steelers, Texans, and Browns are on their schedule, so not as easy as a schedule. So if you're just looking schedule-wise, it would seem to be that it would be Josh Allen's MVP race to lose at this point. Moving into college football, as I mentioned earlier, college football playoff starts this Friday. Indiana visits Notre Dame. Going to be an awesome college football playoffs. Awesome weekend. Really looking forward to that. Shout out to Navy, who defeated Army for the first time since 2021. And in that time, they also won the Commander-in-Chief trophy because they beat the Air Force as well earlier in the season. Navy and Army had both winning records, which is usually not the case in the service academies because they play, well, obviously, first of all, not even who they play, but it's because of the fact that they have so much more, many more commitments and hours that they have to put in the day than any other football team across the nation. But there's also held to a higher standard. They also don't have any usually don't have any highly ranked recruits, things like that. So to have a winning record and to display the bravery, sacrifice, and courage it takes to be a future soldier and a soldier in training, shout out to all the Navy and Army and Air Force students, out there at these service academies. And we appreciate your present and future service. That being said, we look at the Heisman Trophy was awarded this weekend to Travis Hunter. Yes, the amazing, wow, what a great player he is. He is a two-way standout, which means that he plays both offense and defense, which in football is pretty hard to do. It's not like Shohei Ohtani in baseball because you're getting hit all the time. So for him to play two really physical positions that are they're not like offensive and defensive line or anything, but as a cornerback, and he is one especially. He will come up and make the big hit. He will come up and take on tacklers when he catches the ball. He doesn't shy away from contact. But he's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see him on Sundays in the NFL. He received the most prestigious award. Excuse me, I need water real quick. Little parched there. He edged out runner-up Ashton Gianti, the running back from Boise State, who ran for 2,500 yards and still has bowl games to go. Could possibly break, and probably will break, Barry Sanders, the legend, his college record. This was the closest Heisman race since 2009 when Alabama's Mark Ingram topped Stanford's Toby Gerhart. Wow, what a bunch of throwback names those were. The Colorado Stars, the first player to star on, defense especially, since Michigan quarterback and Raiders legend Charles Woodson. Shout out to Charles Woodson. Love me some Charles Woodson. Back in 1997, he did similar to what Travis Hunter was doing, except he was not nearly the offensive threat Travis Hunter was, which makes me want to take you back even a little further to somebody I love just a little more than Charles Woodson, another Raiders legend and my favorite football player of all time, wide receiver. And shout out my brother D Clubs, the Ridge, Clubber D's brother, who is also a Raiders fan and his favorite player, wide receiver, Hall of Famer, Heisman Trophy winner, Tim Brown, who played offense, kick returner, punt returner, and did all these different things. So there have been players before Travis Hunter, but he is something else and something more special than previous versions before him. So we'll see what he decides to do in the NFL. He says he wants to play both ways. Not going to be able to happen in the NFL. It's just not possible with I'm not going to say it's not possible. It is possible, and it should be done, but it should be done at a very low level on the offense. What do I mean by that? I mean that he should be your starting cornerback. He should be your starting cornerback, since that is such a valuable position and one that is very hard to find really, really great cornerbacks, which he is already and would be, coming into the league right away. Wide receivers are easier to find, but also you would put in a package for him on offense. 10 to 15 plays a game, and just let him start on defense, throw him out there, kick returner, punt returner if you wanted to, although that's always risky due to injury. But I would definitely try to get him involved on all three phases of the ball. And I think he's going to make a huge impact. Now, if he wants to make money, not that he really needs it, because let's be honest, since 2022, he's signed more than 20 NIL name, image, likeness deals. Just last week, he signed to Adidas. That's on top of United Airlines, Celsius, and NerdWallet. So, shout out to him for making that bread off of his talents. You got to make that guap when you can. Damn, I took it back. Anyways, but if he really wants to make some guap, he got to be a wide receiver. The wide receiver is the way to go. Obviously, you got these people getting paid. Justin Jefferson, tops the list at $35 million. While Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey is the highest paid defensive back at $24 million. So that's 11 million more. Obviously, it's a big difference when it comes to money. Now, obviously, it all depends on. I would think he'd want to get as involved as possible and get the ball in his hands as much as he possibly can. So we'll see what happens. But I'm really excited to see him, come in on Sundays. All right, let's go ahead and hit those rankings real quick. The Philadelphia Eagles coming in at 12-2. Uh, wow, they are just kicking ass every which way, and I know that they've had the coach beefing with the quarterback, and the receiver having disagreements, and people not so not get well. If not getting along is being 12-2, sign me the hell up for not getting along. Because we can be 12-2 and not get along all day. You know, the people I've worked with before in my life that I didn't like or I didn't want to work with. I shouldn't say don't like. I like most people. I get along with most people actually, but there's been certain people I didn't want to work with just because they got on my nerves, or I just didn't know how to do their job. They was incompetent, or just a tattletale, or whatever that case may be. A snitch. Snitches get stitches. You know how it go. If we are, I'll give it to you this way. I used to work for a company, and I used to have a team, and as a team, we produced chef kiss results within our digital marketing program. But we didn't all get along. We didn't all get along. Hey, we had some arguments, we had some disagreements, we had some days we didn't talk to each other. But you know what? We got the damn job done, and we made money for the company, and that's all that matters. So, moving on. Well, I had to tell that personal anecdote. But Buffalo Bills at 11-3 in the number 2 position. Wow, they've been on a roll as well. Little a season late considering I predicted them to go to the Super Bowl last year. At number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs 13-1, but watch out, Patrick Mahomes with an ankle injury. So we're gonna have to see what comes of that. Right now they're saying he's week to week, but ankle injuries, especially high ankle sprains, are very difficult for NFL players to come back from. The Minnesota Vikings at number 4 are 11-2, and the Detroit Lions, even though that game was really hard fought, one of the best games of the year, and they've had a very, very, very exciting games the past few weeks. But the fact that they lost and NFL.com is moving them down to number 5, okay, that's fine. But they're still, if not the best, one of the best teams in the league. I still have them at the top personally, even over Philadelphia. I just think that they've endured too many injuries, and we're seeing that come back to haunt them a little now. So we'll see. We'll see how they can make it work. I do want to share one thing before we move on to the news and get you out of here for the football game. The college football playoffs, as I mentioned, start this week, and since I gave you the bracket last week, I do want to share with you what the projections are here in this bracket. So you'll see that I showed you last week the bracket. There it is again, so you can get a quick look at it. Remember that Oregon, Arizona State, Georgia, Boise State all buys this weekend. This left-hand corner right here, this is going to be your matchups for the weekend, starting with that third matchup on Friday. So going to be an amazing weekend of football because you got the other 3 games, Ohio State, Tennessee, Texas, Clemson, Penn State, SMU on Saturday. But what I want to show you today is the projections. This comes from The Athletic. Shout out The Athletic. I subscribe. I pay for the membership, and it has given me awesome, awesome information. So I do want to make sure I shout out the people at The Athletic, especially one of my boys and our boy here, one of our NBA insiders here at Ball and Buds, our boy, Dave DeFore. Y'all go check out the new NBA Daily podcast featuring that guy, Dave. All right. So look at this. Oregon. It'll show you what I want you to move your eyes to is the right-hand side, which says postseason odds. And I want you to take a look at those last 2 columns where you see the percentage to make the championship game, and then the last column, which is the percentage to win the championship game. So you can see that Oregon has a 20% chance to win the championship. Texas followed. Hot Take Jake's Texas at 18%. Ohio State at 17%. And then Canteen's Georgia at 12%. Penn State at 12%. Those are your top 5 to win the championship this year, the first ever college football playoff championship. And then your top 5 to make the championship are going to be the same teams, but you can see when I click it, it comes to a little bit of a different order. Georgia actually moves up, and this is because of the playoff matchups themselves, where they're playing at the teams they're playing. But as you can see, that does make a little bit of a difference. Ohio State moves down in chances to make the championship, but then if they do make the championship, they have a better chance to win it than other teams. So it's just saying they have a harder road to actually get there. That's what that is explaining. But again, I just wanted to come and show y'all real quick before we get this started, as I hit boxes everywhere for some reason. I don't know why I had to make that big of an arm gesture, but we love you here. Oregon is your top 20%, and then again, Hot Take Jake's Texas at number 2 are your top 2 contenders for the college football playoffs. All right, so now that we've done our pop culture and sports, let's go ahead and move into the news. So I can get out of here because my Raiders come on in 15 minutes. Oh, by the way, before I get out of here, I do want to give you my my predictions for tonight. We have 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, which is awesome. I actually like the 2 Monday Night Football game thing they have going on. One already started just 2 minutes ago. The Bears and Vikings. The Vikings are up 3-0. No way the Bears beat the Vikings at home. The Vikings are too good of a team, and Sam Darnold is playing above his head. We're waiting for that pumpkin. We'll see. We'll talk more about it on. We'll talk more about both these games on the Bottom Line Sports tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're subscribed to Ball and Buds or join the Bottom Line Sports Facebook group. I got the Vikings in this by probably 10. I'm going to say 24-10 Vikings, and then Falcons versus my Raiders. Raiders have no reason whatsoever on God's green earth to win this game. And if they don't go out and tank this damn game, shaking for Shador, baby. We are shaking for Shador. And I don't care if Aiden O'Connell is healthy enough. You bench that sucker. You throw Desmond Ridder out there, and you hope to lose. You hope to lose. I know I shouldn't say that, but we have the number 1 draft pick right now. And you know what that means? We have the pick of the litter, baby. The pick of the litter, baby. Woo! Where's my Ric Flair? I need a little bit of Ric Flair. Where? There he is.
You and I are limousine ride. Jet fly.
Little limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. Woo! All right. Anyways, all right. So, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. I don't know what that. Give me a like. Give me with that like, that thumbs up, all that good stuff before we get you out of here. But yeah, there's no reason for the Raiders to win this. If they were to win it, that would be very much an issue. They should want to lose and should want to get that number 1 pick. Lose. The Atlanta Falcons need this game anyways to move on and try to still have a chance at the playoffs. I have the Falcons in a with Max Crosby out too. Jeez. Let's go with a 14-point victory by the Falcons, 28-14 Falcons. All right. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to do the news and get out of here to get to the Raiders game. So, again, it is subscribe at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. U.S. News. Donald Trump has won Times Person of the Year 2024. This is after he won it in 2016. He won it against the other list of finalists, Vice President Kamala Harris, ex-Twitter owner Elon Musk, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Kate, the Princess of Wales. Look, yes, I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump and probably because of that don't agree with this pick. This pick has nothing to do with likability of a person. There is no favorability factor here. There is no Q score that you need to attain to win Times Person of the Year. It's not about how much popularity you have or how much good you've even done. It's about how much of the news you make. And one thing you can say about Donald Trump for sure is he is going to stay in the news and stay relevant in the news, and he has done that consistently year after year. And yes, he has the pedestal and the channels and the ability to stay in the news, but he also stays in the news. And so I agree with the pick. I do. I agree with the pick. I think that, again, you know, it's not about what you've accomplished. It's about, you know, who's the most news-worthy. And whether you like him or not, or whether you agree with his policies or not, or whether you're a conservative or a Democrat, you know, GOP, it doesn't really matter. What you will be able to say is he is newsworthy. Everything he says or does is talked about by hours by both sides of the aisle, all news media outlets and everything. And I can't even disagree and say that it wasn't, because I remember, and one reason that I actually, for the amount of things that happened within his first term, not that COVID was his fault, because it was not. His handling of it was his fault. It could have been better. But the COVID itself wasn't his fault. Neither was the inflation, because that's what happens when you have a global pandemic. But one thing I did enjoy, I guess, hard, I guess, enjoy is a weird word to say there, but the fact that when we were in COVID and we were sitting at home every day, we had nothing else to do, I could watch Trump press conferences at the White House that he was doing every day, because they were hilarious, and I would laugh my ass off at the dumb things he would say and all the. So I would be appointment television for me. I would set up shop every day just to make sure I watched it. So can't say he's not newsworthy, and so I agree with this. All right, let's move it on. The drones you're seeing, this is a huge thing, y'all. I need y'all to stop believing everything you hear on the internet, please. Please. Not everything you hear, see, read, or anything on the internet is real, and probably more than likely it's a scam. Okay? Whatever they're trying to sell you, whatever service, product, whatever their opinion they're trying to get you to believe, whether it's one side of the aisle, they're going to want you to believe whatever it is. If it's conspiracy theorists, they're going to put out conspiracy theories. Y'all need to start doing your research like I do for these programs. You need to start knowing better before you speak. Okay? Don't be putting out conspiracy theories of an Iranian mothership full of drones. Okay? Are there Iranian drone ships? Yeah, there are. Actually, there are 3 of them. But they're all stationed currently in Iran. So that would not be the reason. But people like to make up all of these things. And the problem is that this conspiracy theory didn't just come from a regular citizen, but a Republican representative, Jeff Van Drew, who was the one that said he had credible reports of this. Look, y'all, as I've mentioned plenty of times before, I worked for the government a long time, and I know a lot of things about the world and the United States that many people don't know and will never know or have the need to know. And while a couple of years ago we saw those Chinese weather balloons, those are a bigger concern. When we had those, yes, those were surveillance balloons. They may tell you they're weather balloons or try to get you to believe that. They're not. They're surveillance balloons. Most advanced countries have them at least, and use them for surveillance. It's not an unknown thing. So that we should have shot those balloons down. These drones are not that dumb. Usually, if you're going to see a drone in the sky, why don't you just think about your next door neighbor? You know what's funny? I was thinking about the people immediately around me that I could just think about that own drones. One of my really great friends lives right down the street. He has a drone. My cousin owns a drone. I own a drone. I've never flown it. I shout out to my mom who helped me to fix this program. I was thinking about this earlier before the show, how I had a drone, but I've never used it. Because shout out my mom who was, while we're going through boxes, is telling me that he bought all these things because it was on sale, even though he doesn't use them. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, shit, I did buy that drone because it was on sale and I haven't used it either. So I guess we all do that sometimes. I don't do it as much, but I do. So I'm sorry, Mom, I love you. But anyway, but they're not, y'all. The drones are going to be somebody's personal drone. A lot of these are manned aircraft and people just trying to be copycats and get things out there to make it more than it is. These are not anything. They're not any other country's drones. I can tell you that right now. So nothing to be concerned about at this point. I'm not saying that's not possible. It's definitely possible. And I'm not saying other countries don't have drones, but they definitely do. And I'm not saying that they don't use them for surveillance, but they definitely do. But what I'm saying is this incidents that we're seeing now over the East Coast, New Jersey, New York, Maryland, things like that. Don't believe everything you hear. Just because an incompetent buffoon Republican Jeff Van Drew decided he wanted to use his power to push conspiracy theories is not what we should do as a elected representative. But I digress. Again, only 100 of the sightings of the 5,000 footage. Wish I could talk. drones needed to be invested to see if there were further, you know, things that needed to be considered about these certain drones. So, again, all for naught. Don't worry, you're not going to need to go run away from these drones or anything like that. If you see a drone, it's probably your buddy. 2 people were arrested, though, on Saturday evening near Boston's Logan Airport because they were flying drones around the airport. 2 guys, I'm not going to mention their names because they don't deserve to be named. I don't want them to get any, 15 minutes of fame for this. But 2 gentlemen were arrested, both from Massachusetts, and they were just flying drones trying to be idiots. So this can happen. Lastly, before we move on, some world news real quick. South Korean president, hold on, I want to make sure I get this right. Yoon Suk Yeol was impeached on Saturday. So remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago. He actually tried to enact martial law. The whole country, not the whole country, but a lot of the country did not like that. There was a huge backlash. He reversed the martial law, but it was already too late. They tried to impeach him like a week and a half ago. He didn't get impeached because enough of his party voted for him to keep him in, but not this time. He gone. We'll see what happens, but they have voted to impeach him on Saturday. An extraordinary rebuke coming from his own party. It is the second time in less than a decade a South Korean leader has faced impeachment proceedings. Following the vote, there was definitely a lot of support for the country's prime minister, Han Duck-soo, who will serve as the acting president until they figure out who is going to be the next leader of South Korea. And so this is very dramatic, y'all. As we're seeing all over the world, we talked about Syria and Bashar al-Assad getting ousted last week. There is a lot of upheaval in the world, in politics in general, and it's just spreading like wildfire around the world. It's just it's very sad. Oh, shout out, thank you, mother. You know I love you. I know you were listening to my little anecdote there, so I'm sure you'll tell me about it when I get out here in a couple minutes. But yeah, so just crazy how much is actually going out there in the world. Speaking of former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, he issued his first public statement on December 16th, just earlier this morning. And this, now I want to preface this with, this comes from Assad. No one actually, saw him give this. This came on his Facebook page and Telegram channels, the official ones. But it was also from Moscow. So we don't know if this is a contrived statement, if it actually came from him, or if it came from Putin or someone else. We don't know these things yet. And there was also a rumor that he could have possibly been shot down last week. But this could also be maybe a cover-up. Again, don't know. I don't have. I'm just giving you the different things that have been reported by different news outlets. I don't know anything, so I'm not telling you anything in specific. But the release from his channels today said, "My departure from Syria was neither planned nor did it occur in the final hours of battle." He goes on to say that while he went out to a Russian military base in the Latvia province to oversee combat operations, he had found that government troops had abandoned their positions, and that's when he decided to take for safety in Moscow. Again, could that be the true thing that happened? Could be, sure. But could it also be a cover-up? Could it also be a contrived statement from Moscow? All of these things are also possible. So we will wait in the next week to find out what happens with that. And finally, some last couple pieces of news here. I wanted to save these for last because they are very upsetting news pieces. So I do want to warn you now, if you have little children around you that are watching, or if you are easily upset, I would like to just say, make sure you subscribe to Ball and Buds, because I don't usually talk that much about, that stuff, but it is in the news and these things do have to be mentioned. And make sure you subscribe to future videos, and we love your support here at Ball and Buds. The first thing is that Crystal Magnum, if that name does not sound familiar, Crystal Magnum was an exotic dancer who in 2006 accused 3 Duke University lacrosse players of sexually assaulting and raping. um, in an astonishing, just an astonishing turn of events. Now, 18 years later, she has come out and say that they did not actually do what she said. And she has now redacted her claims. She said this on a podcast episode released last week. It doesn't state the podcast. But the players were arrested, charged. This was a huge case. It was huge in the news around the world. Like, oh my goodness, these very affluent, wealthy Duke University students took advantage of this, this dancer in a place that it shouldn't have happened. And to find out now that may not have been the case, and that could have ruined the lives of those students, it seems unfathomable that someone would do that to another person. But that is the news there. That's one tough story. And the last one, and I came on and I lamented this the last time this happened a few months ago. I said, and this actually, I believe it was the first Professor Semanalmente I did, or the second. It was the first, I think. I lamented the school shooting that passed, the last one. And it's sad that I can't even remember what city it was in. That's sad, isn't it? It is sad. It's sad. It's messed up. And we can't have it happen anymore. But the problem is that it just keeps getting repeated every single time. And nothing is ever done to protect our children. God, when will we protect our children in schools that should be a safe place to learn? I've said this plenty of times before in not only podcast episodes, but on live news TV streams, that we need reform. We need mental health reform. We need gun reform. We need all the reforms. And I don't want to hear shit from people about which one way. If you want to have a gun in your house for protection and safety, cool, I'm good. If you want to be a hunter and go out and shoot deer, stuff like that, fine, cool. But to have all these other guns just randomly out on the street, or now being able to just be made, as we saw with the United Healthcare CEO murderer last year, who possibly made a 3D ghost gun, we have to start having reform. We have to have reforms on guns, not just, any kind of war weaponry, but just any gun whatsoever. Have you ever noticed that the countries that don't have guns don't have mass shootings? They don't have these issues. They don't deal with the shit that we deal with all the damn time, over and over, and I'm sick of it. God bless the people that lost their lives today. At least 3 people dead. At least 1 teacher and 1 student at a K-12 school in Wisconsin, Christian school. Apparently, a former student, they weren't able to identify the gender and age earlier, but they have now identified her as a girl. I'm assuming, maybe, I don't know anything to be true, so I am not making any practical declarations here. But from what that sounds like, it sounds like a student that went to a Christian school that maybe didn't believe in religion, or maybe just had their trust shaken at some point, and then later in life, maybe they had some identity issues or other things, and decided that they didn't like the school that they went to, or the people, maybe they were bullied, whatever, and they decided to go back now and shoot people. There are I don't even know what the number is now, because it was earlier when I saw the story on the news. I think it was like in the teens of people that were in the emergency room at the hospital. This is unacceptable, y'all. This is completely unacceptable, and we need help. We need reform. We don't need thoughts and prayers. We do need thoughts and prayers. We always need thoughts and prayers. Praise Lord Jesus, we always need thoughts and prayers. But what we need is reform, because nothing is going to get better until we actually do something about it. I'm not trying to take anybody's guns away, but we need gun reform to a certain point. Not trying to infiltrate people's, internal lives and things like that. But there needs to be background checks. There needs to be more mental health checks on everybody. There needs to be more mental health services. Things like that, like this, don't happen. I'm not going to keep lamenting it tonight. I'm going to have on my mind to the professor, my next one soon. Because I said last time this happened that I was going to talk about it on my mind of the professor, the next one, and I ended up not doing it until like a month later. And at that time, I felt it had been too long, and I didn't want to use it as, exploitation to try to talk about something that had happened so long before. Because unfortunately, it's not like I didn't foresee that happening again. Because until something changes, until we do something about it, this is just going to continue to happen. And it's unacceptable. May God bless all those who lost their lives today, and all the parents and families that will have to deal with the missing spot this holiday. That, be kinder to each other, love each other, help each other. Especially during the holiday season when we should be. We should be doing it all the time, especially now. That being said, I love you. I love your support. Thank you. Shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to my mom for helping me with the stream, making sure it was going good. Now I got to go watch my Raiders play since we are on TV right now. So I got to be out. If anyone is still watching, which you're probably not because there's 2 football games on, I appreciate you staying tuned in. Make sure you subscribe at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Please help us out. If you see, there's a QR code up in the right-hand corner. Go ahead and, if you click that QR code or scan the QR code with your phone, or click on. Actually, no. You can only scan on the QR code from your phone. But if you can do that, you will go ahead and find all of our social media profiles where you will be able to subscribe and type it in now. To subscribe to our YouTube, get our follow on Instagram, Twitter, find our podcast audio and all that good stuff. Again, y'all, let's be kind to each other. We really need to fix things in this world. We can't keep going on like this, and especially when young children are at risk in a place that should be the most safe and most, safe and sacred for them. That being said, my name is Omar, the Professor Fonseca. Again, love, kindness, and peace to everyone. And holla. Bye.
Peace with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist, yo. I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro. Create heat on beat flow. Like Jordan after the second time he three-peated. Folks, get ready, set, let's go. Fight toe to toe, release the flow created by this mic pro. Lights, camera, get low. Action packed, back to back. In fact, this monster will grow. Y'all better let him know. Man with the master plan, and you have no need to know. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
Sports Professor.